Good afternoon, and thank you very much for having me join today. I want to take the opportunity today to introduce FlowSparks FastPass, and more specifically how managing access and reporting on your digital learning modules can be done without any form of user management, so you can roll out digital learning content to users without a company email address or to external users such as contractors or unknown user groups to your organization. But first, let me introduce myself. I'm Jochen Coekaerts. Indeed, it's a difficult name to pronounce. I'm customer success coach at FlowSparks. One of my responsibilities is rolling out the FastPass solutions for our customers, and I'm passionate about instructional design. What are we going to talk about today? Well, let's have a quick look. First, I would like to introduce to explore why FlowSparks FastPass can be used, when it can be used. Then let's look into how it works, what the inner workings are, and then I'll give you a demo specifically where you will see how to start a training and to report on the results. And then I would like to give you a few practical use cases for FastPass within several organizations. But let's kick off with a poll question, so I know who you are, where you're coming from, what your experiences are. And my first question would be, which audiences do you currently provide e-learnings to? If I am correct, Alexander has a question set up in a poll you can see right now. You can select multiple responses. So either you're rolling out this specifically to internal employees, people you might not have their email address, or you roll out to contractors, freelancers, partners, organizations, or resellers. Again, you don't really know them very well. Customers or end users, which is a complete unknown group who have to self-register, or others. And you can specify in chat what those would be. I see that there are some results, I guess. Alexander, do we have some? Yeah, okay.
So it's like 67% customers and end users and 33% internal employees.
Yeah.
For the first question. And I think the second one already popped up. Maybe
I'll
you can show this one. Yeah.
Yeah. So my second question would be, how are you currently distributing training to users without a corporate account? So typically without email addresses, but let's just generalize. So either you don't distribute them today, you use shared accounts, so Mitarbeiter, let's say username, and then a password Mitarbeiter01. You manually create them with a lot of work. As a consequence, you might use a separate platform. Again, please let us know in chat which one that would be, so we kind of know what your experiences are, or you avoid this audience because it's too much work.
Yeah, so 33% we don't distribute them today at all in that regard, and 67% by manually creating individual LMS accounts.
Okay, that must be a lot of work. And not distributing, we understand either that those solutions are not necessary at the moment or are way too much effort at the moment to implement. So let's look into why FastPass exists and when you use FastPass. Well, actually, it kind of is answered by the last question that we asked. To fully understand why there's a need for FlowSparks FastPass, we need to take a step back and look at the steps in the creation of a digital training course. Aside from the focus on the content part of the course, where you need to analyze, design, develop, and then test your content, you also need a plan to roll out your training content. And since you need participants to access content, if you ever want to get feedback and to start this whole cycle again, to improve your training courses, you need to really know how to roll it out. And FastPass will help you with the rollout phase. In a normal, typical flow, when releasing or rolling out content, most cases, this is handled by an LMS, an HRIS system. And a major prerequisite for any of these systems is that you actually have the user already identified, typically with a username. Typically, this is an email address, work email address, and a password login. Then the rollout in this case would be an easy process because you define them in separate groups, you roll out to certain groups, and you define which groups are not your target audience. This is quite easy, and then at that moment, you can let them log in using passwords or SSO. And at the end, you have a nice overview of who has completed the course, who has, you can have reports and all of this kind of stuff. Very good flow, but unfortunately, the normal flow does not always work. What if you cannot or do not want to identify your participants? What if you deal with, what if you are unable to identify your participants? They are not in a learning management system. They are not under your control, like contractors, like, for example, the end users. So they are not in a database, and you do still need to give them access to your training. How do you deal without this, without becoming an administrative load, as we saw with the second question? Well, at least one of you had a major issue with the amount of work that this causes because you have to manually create them. In this case, FlowSparks FastPass can be a very good solution. We have created FastPass as a plug-and-play solution for organizations that, for example, quickly need to test knowledge. It enables easy access to digital modules without having to know the participants before they access the content, and it registers all activities in a logbook. It is the perfect solution to offer information and learning content to external people or occasional visitors. FastPass is often used for safety trainings, one-time access into the company, and more, and that we'll dig into more with our use cases. So how would FastPass work? Well, it's quite simple and genius at the same time. In contrast to a classic LMS, a person does not need to be registered before, and it does not revolve around the user in a learning management system. It does just revolve around the attempt of that person on that specific course. To be able to identify the person, we'll need to have a specific flow, and the participant goes to the URL, so they can be accessed on any kind of device through an internet browser. They go to the URL and they register. First, they actually choose their language, so they know their whole flow will be done in their own native language, and we're using flags to make this especially easy. So the ease of use. A lot of our customers, just as an aside, a lot of our end users for FastPass don't necessarily have a lot of language skills. So it could be that there are blue-collar workers who do not have necessarily a language background of, let's say, German, and they might have different languages as well. So we try to make this as smooth as possible. They choose their language, and then they fill in their user details. This can be name, can be date of birth, could also be a identification number. We can even work with a badge or a QR code that is on their badge as well. This is the information that you want them to provide to identify them for your results. Once they have been registered, they follow the course, and at the end, once they have completed, the system can generate a certificate, which can then be printed on a sticker, on a badge, on a piece of paper, and then they are locked out of the system again. And if they want to have a second, want to follow a second course, they need to register again as well, which allows the system to be to work as a standalone system in a kiosk, for example. So nobody needs to supervise the content, and it's not open the whole time. Every attempt is logged, by the way, so that means even if an attempt is failed or it's an incomplete attempt, it will also be logged. So we have an overview of anything that happens. I'll quickly give you a demo as well. So I'm here on a FastPass platform. I have all my language options. I select German, and then I will be asked to identify myself a little bit more. This can be again set up depending on the type of worker that I am, in this case an internal worker, and maybe my location if there are specific trainings based on the location. I'm given access. I choose my name. I choose a date of birth. This is something that we have found the fastest way to identify people, to make sure that we don't have double results or people with the same name showing up. And then I'm given several courses here. If there's only one, it starts immediately. But if it's several, they can choose. I'm quickly going into my smart test, which is a test template that we have. And I will restart. I have several question options, which I will quickly go and answer. So I have multiple choice. I can have drag and drop options within my test. These can be things that have to be done in order, or I have to fill in a text. I don't think I will score my highest score in this specific test, as you can imagine. And as expected, I didn't score very highly. After my attempt, I'm thrown out of it again, and I can log in again. So if I would have passed, I might have received a certificate. As an admin, I can follow up these results through a specific login, and I'm shown a dashboard with an overview of the platform. So how many companies have registered, how many employees are there, how many modules do we have active, and the results, I can go and see all of the attempts that have been done. So I can see my most recent attempt here was on the smart test. It was failed miserably with 17%. But let's say if I want to show you a past attempt, as you can see here, there's even a certificate that can be downloaded by the admin as well. If I want to have an overview of the activities on my platform, I can do this as well. So over the past year, there were 25 past attempts, 210 attempts started, and so forth and so forth. So I can have an overview of how much the platform has been used over the past few months. Quickly go through all of these slides. Okay, so this is the theoretical use that you can see on a demo, but what have customers done, or what solutions that we provide for specific customers? The first one would be a major manufacturing plant with thousands of contractors coming in every year. All of these contractors need to get certified to safely enter the plant, and all of these plants have specific training courses, specific safety rules, and these need to be followed up. This would be a major work to follow up manually with all of these people, so it's a responsibility of the contractor to go and register themselves and follow these specific courses. So this would be fire safety, this would be explosive training, use of a software tool as well. So it's the responsibility of the contractors to get certified. They need to provide the certification if they want to enter the site. Those people will enter the URL that's been given to them. They can choose, in this case, only Dutch and English. They sign a privacy statement, fill in their name and their company name, so it can be kind of followed up which company they're coming from, and they follow the course. At the end, a certificate is generated. Either they downloaded it themselves or they hand in their name, and a admin or a person at the gate can even check if they have the required certificate to enter. That's one use case. That's a typical use case of most of our customers. But let's look at another case where there was a manufacturer of hospital equipment. They did not necessarily need to certify all of their contractors, but they had end users that for compliancy reasons, they needed to give a training as well. But because this was compliance, they also needed to register all of the data of those people. So in this case, for the end customers, this had to be rolled out worldwide. So again, administratively, this would have been a massive job to kind of follow up. And in this case, they register themselves. They decide which country they're from, which city the hospital is in, and then they give a bit more information. And in the end, again, after signing the correct what we'll do with the data, which is only the customer has access to the data, we have all of the information necessary to be able to report for compliancy reasons that they have both done the training, but we have all of the information to prove this as well. A final use case, which is a bit more out of our typical use case, but very interesting as well, would be a producer of makeup. Again, worldwide rollout of a product training for their retail partners. So people in shops, again, the producer does not know who these people are, but they would like those people to get at least a bit more certified and a bit more knowledgeable about the product. And in this case, the registration brings the participants not to a one specific training, but actually towards an LMS. So we provide access to an LMS with all of the different courses in a dashboard. After they've just registered with their name, first name, shop name, and date of birth. So we do not require any email address at all. So this allows easy access. Those people can get all of the trainings they need for to be knowledgeable on the product they have to sell. And this way, we provide an easy access without any of the administrative load of knowing the participants beforehand. People can register themselves for free and on a self-registration basis. Okay. These are 3 use cases. So I hope you understand what the wide variety of use cases can be. And basically, we love it when there's a complex problem and we can figure out how to simplify access. So if you think your use case is complex, difficult, get in contact. We'd love to have a chat and figure out how to help. To summarize, what does FlowSparks do? FastPass do? We have a logbook style reporting and data overview. Every attempt is logged, even the failed ones. We have a customizable flow for identification of the users. So again, you choose which data you would like to know. It's multilingual and it can work on any device. So I've now shown this all in a browser on a desktop. Because it's a browser, you can also show it on a tablet, on a phone screen, on whatever. It will provide access to SCORM and LTI compliant content. The rollout can be one course, multiple courses, or, as in the last case, even the access to an LMS dashboard. After completion, you are provided with a certificate, which you can print on a piece of paper, a badge, on a sticker, whatever you would like to do. It's one central platform, but you can even subdivide it or segment it into different locations, sites, plans, each with their own reporting. So the admin does not need to see everything, but can see only the stuff that they are personally responsible for. It's suited for kiosks and standalone locations. We have several customers who have this running on a screen on a standalone location 24/7 where there is nobody else, and people still are able to follow the course. And it's customizable to your specific flow and your specific branding as well. If you have any more questions, please let us know, but you can also scan the QR code on the screen. Thank you very much. Are there any questions?
Yeah, so I think in the chat there was no question popping up. Everyone who joined today can feel free to raise your hand, show us your beautiful face, and ask a question. while we're waiting, three things came across my mind. So one thing was the last use case you have shown, as I've understood it maybe correctly, there's an LMS in the backend, so you have like the FastPass connected to the FlowSparks LMS. Was it
Indeed.
that case? Right? Very interesting. Then the use case for the certificate, you told us that when you are at the kiosk, there's also an option to print it out or put it on a badge or something like this. How does this work?
So that we know that it works best if that's something that's dealt with locally. So we're not providing the printing solution, but we do provide the option that after you've completed it. So you saw the test that I failed.
Yeah.
It logs out immediately. At that moment, then that flow will stop you from logging out and will give a screen, hey, would you like to print out the certificate?
Yes.
If it's on your phone, if you click print, it actually just saves on your phone as you would typically have with a PDF. Correct. If it's on that location, it's connected to a printer, and whatever style of printing they would like to do, they can do. So we know several customers who have this printed, and they just have to stick it on their hat, on their hard hat. So when they walk around, everybody knows they're certified. And if they're walking around with the wrong color of the year before, they're sent back in and they have to go and complete their safety training.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the mobile phone, I think also a lot of FastPass users have providing maybe just a QR code at the beginning. You scan it, you know the URL, you do the training, and then you can show the certificate on the phone, as you mentioned.
Absolutely. So we have customers who the contractors need to go and complete the course first at home. They're being sent a link. This can be done automatically as well. They complete that course. Thank you very much, Amandine, for your presence. They have to already register and complete the course, but it's then being checked at the person at the gate. So the person at the gate will check if they've completed this. If they haven't, they're being sent into a room with a computer where they have to register themselves and to follow the whole training, get certified. And then it's being checked again. Yes.
And checking at the gate means that he's just taking a look at the date, for example, like manually taking a look at the certificate and acknowledging, yes, done.
Yeah. So a gatekeeper can, instead of having to accompany people to a training room and getting them certified and giving them a paper test and all of this kind of stuff, they can just stay at the gate where they have to be to supervise, and they just have a screen with FastPass running. They have only access to the results. They don't see anything else, and they can just look up the name and they can follow up.
Yeah. Annette is also needs to leave and said as well. It was very interesting. Annette and Amandine, I will send you the recording afterwards. Thanks for that. And lastly, I mean, now everyone has left, but actually, if I'm correct, that if you log in with the same credentials again, because maybe you're an employee, you're a frontline worker, there's some kind of like a dashboard popping up. So maybe the course I've done in the past, I will see the course as done. I will see maybe the certificate there. So there's some kind of like a dashboard based on my login. If I log in the same way with the same name, correct?
Yes, indeed. You have three options. So if you have one course, it will only show you the one course, obviously. If you have multiple courses, it will have a very simplified dashboard. As you could see with my demo, there's only 4 activities available. So it's very simplified, and it will show you, okay, you've already completed these. There's a little check mark, so you know you don't really need to touch it. There's a possibility to even block it from being opened, but we typically allow them to open it again if they really feel like. Or we can have the whole dashboard LMS situation. That's another possibility, but that's if you really want to build a full e-learning experience for your employees or workers or end users, whatever.
Yes, I get it. So if you have the problem with having frontline workers that are not that well provided by the LMS due to different reasons, then you could you have 2 options, like a light version where there's a dashboard kind of flow where you can log in every time with the same credentials and see what you have done, what not, or you can step up the game and have the LMS being waiting for you and having like the same experience that every employee has, just the the login is a different flow.
Absolutely, indeed, yeah. It's just simplifying the logging in, and if there and not requiring an email address, which is one of the major sticking points for a lot of unknown groups, so either blue-collar workers without an email address or external users, and you do not want to have their personal email addresses.
Yeah,
we would prefer not to have any personal data if we could manage.
So is this also a thing in Belgium and in Holland, that this kind of discussion that you have inside the companies of that the employee says, I don't want to give you my private email. If you want, it's the same discussion, same struggles.
I can't specify for the Netherlands, but privacy is a major thing. Personal email addresses is a sticking point also for labor unions, because it would allow the employer to contact an employee outside of business hours, for example, and understandable that that's not allowed. And also just it's personal data. So it's a little more, if it's an work email address, we're happy to have it and we would prefer. Also, it's not a good idea to make it a unique ID, because you might change your Hotmail address or your Gmail address or whatever. You might just lose it and need a new one. But if that's your unique ID, that's what we base all of our user experience on. That's not something that we can validly build. It's not reliable. So therefore, it's both for a privacy concern, which is legally required and we follow, but also just from a practical point of view, not the best idea.
Okay. Jochen, thanks for your time. Hopefully, I will check up and follow up on the 2 people and the other ones that have not joined today. Thank you for stepping in that short term. Have a nice day. See you soon, maybe, hopefully,
See you soon.
with another FastPass project. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.